Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. Hi, if you are a returning viewer, hi, nice to see you, thank you for coming back. If you are a new viewer, hi, welcome in. My name is Laura. This is where I come to chat all about my crafty life. I am a yarn dyer and a yarn show organiser. I am in Lowestoft, which is the most easterly town in the UK, and I live here with I don't live here because this is the studio, but I live in this town with my family, my husband, my two little children and my dog. And yeah, I am at my studio. So I dye as the Lonely Knitter, but I dye everything from Folk Yarn Studio. So I'll leave the details of all the stuff that I do below. I also run East Anglia Yarn Festival, which is an annual yarn show in Norwich. It's held at the Norfolk Showground Arena. Again, all the details are below. We have over 85 amazing yarn show vendors from all over the country and beyond. And yeah, so there's details and stuff below if you'd like to have a look. Our tickets are on sale now if you'd like to join us. I feel like my words are all coming out in a jumble. So today is Monday the 16th of December and today is episode 16. I don't know if I said that already, my brain has completely gone. If you hear a little bit of background noise, I'm so sorry. First of all, the studio is in a wider building and I have neighbours, but also my dye pans are on. I have turned them off, but as they cool down there might be a little bit of noise, but I've been working today, so there's a little bit of background noise. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so straight into it. So this is where I come to talk about my yarny life. And I have actually been knitting. Now, it's Advent. All the plans went out the window. It always happens. I don't know what to do about it. Need to organise my life. Next year will be better, she says. I've said that every year. So Advent socks. I had Advent socks from Spin and Leather. I haven't got cracking on them. I want to desperately. They might be my Christmas Eve project, not cast on necessarily. I wanted to have all sorts of plans going on, but they might be when Christmas hits. This is then what I do all the way through Twixtmas and all the way into January blues. So yeah, we'll see. I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm trying to make this end of the year not be something that is a total meltdown for me, because that's what last year was. And yeah, so I'm going to try and go into 2025 feeling good. So in the vein of no pressure, I actually finished things and knit on things, and instead of jumping from thing to thing to thing, I finished a thing and then I picked up another thing, and that's all I've worked on. So this might be a really boring podcast, in which case I'm so sorry. But I finished a thing, my only finished object. I've not got anything else finished to show you, but I finished my mittens. So this pattern is the World Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits, and it is knit from my mini skein set of Wicked colourways. So here it is. I talked about the yarn, I think, in the last episode, so I won't go into crazy detail on these again, but this is the mini skein set. This is knit in DK. I made the adult small or medium, can't remember, completely gone, but this is a free pattern from Tin Can Knits, and it is pretty chill. I haven't blocked these yet, so they will grow a little bit because this is super wash yarn. I'm not sure I'm going to block them. I might block them, we'll see. But they're not actually for me to wear right now. I'll probably be wearing them next winter because they are a shop sample, and they're going to live here with the Wicked yarn, but also they are going to come with me to Waltham Abbey Wool Show in January, which is a really fun yarn show just to the side, just Londonish, Waltham Abbey. It's a really, really lovely show that I'll be vending at, so I'm going to take these with me. And if you are a returning viewer, wait for me to absolutely knock your socks off, because I can't get my mittens off now. I'm just stuck in them. I have woven in my ends. I don't know if it's because I'm recording podcasts more often, and I recorded that last episode and then said, I think, there's no way I'm going to have woven in the ends on these. That I then decided I have to weave them in. Wove them in. So all of the ends are woven in. I didn't do the neatest job. Now, on bigger things, I will happily do a weave in as you go method. I don't say weave in Stevens. Well, I do, that's the worst thing because it's such a nice sounding thing, weave in Stevens. If you have heard of the weaving Stevens method of weaving in, I try not to use that term because that term great associates itself with Stephen West, with his patterns, and he's an amazing designer, and no shade, I love his patterns, I've made lots of them, but for me that technique was taught to me in my early teenage years by the ladies at the Beccles wool shop, which was my local yarn shop growing up. They have retired now. I think someone else has just taken it over, but I'm not sure if they've got the same sort of wool shop style going on. I've heard some things, but I haven't been to see it myself, so I have no clue. But that's in a little town near me. That's where I grew up, in Beccles, and they taught that to me a very long time ago. It is a technique that many other people I know have done for a very long time, and I love that Stephen has brought out his own tutorial that's maybe made it accessible for lots of other people and named it Weave in Stevens, but it is not Weave in Stevens to me. But I haven't got, other than Weave in as you go, which does not sound anywhere near as cool, a name for it, so I slip into calling it Weave in Stevens because then everybody knows what I mean. Everybody who does not know what I mean is probably looking at the video and going, what? Anyway, so I did not weave in as I went on these, and that is because they're so dinky, and I didn't want any kind of bumpy ridge that followed along and made a lump along. I would rather leave them and then at the end sew them in myself, and yes, I have little bumpy ridges along the side, but to me that feels absolutely fine. So and I sort of spread them out a little bit, space them out a little bit, so they're not the neatest in the entire world, but I have no problem with how they feel. And I actually did it. I actually have woven in ends on a pair of mittens. So yeah, normally I count things as done when the knitting's done and leave it. I think when I last recorded, these didn't have thumbs. I think I'd cast on for the first thumb, the other one was on the yarn still, and all the ends were everywhere. So that is now done. So I have mittens, but they're gonna live here and not keep my hands warm because they're going to stay nice, because I will put them in my pocket. And I have other fingerless mitts that I have made that are now really fuzzy because they've been stuck on Velcro and pulled about all over the place, and I am hard on my hand covering knitwear. That was not how I wanted that to come out. I'm hard on things like this, so I want them to stay looking as nice as they can for as long as they can, as they're a shop sample, and then they will jump over to my pockets in winter next year, probably. So, finished objects. World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits. It is a free pattern. You can get it on Ravelry, you can get it on their app, you can get it on their website, I think, but it's a free pattern. My next thing is an Advent thing. So, I think I've talked about this already on an episode, but I have swapped Advent calendars this year and the last couple of years. Oh, and I'm halfway through a row. That's awful. And I'm halfway through a row, but I'm like at the start of the row. Like, I'm not halfway then, am I, you melon? I am this much into a row that is this long, so there's no way I'm going to finish this before I finish talking, even if I try and knit along it now. But I'm going to do it anyway because I make bad decisions. So Helen and I have exchanged swapped Advents for the last couple of years, I believe. I think this is year 3. I'm probably wrong now. I feel like this is year 3 of swapping Advents with Helen. And I love Helen's yarn. I have loads of it in my stash. That's Giddy Yarns. I love her yarn. I love her theming. Most of her yarn is dyed with inspiration taken from books. And yeah, I am a big book nerd, especially on children's books, on a little bit on sci-fi, fictional fantasy. My degree is in creative and media writing. I have had a long time ago short stories published in fantasy anthologies, stuff like that. Like, I'm a big nerd. I'm not saying I was any good, definitely wasn't. But I love Helen's yarn. I love the theming to it, and I have a lot of it. So when she was up for swapping with me again this year, I was really chuffed. I think she might have, I can't remember which one of us messaged. I am always that person. I don't tend to ask yarn dyers if they will swap with me I have friends who are yarn dyers, a lot of friends who are yarn dyers who I've swapped with in the past, and I love doing a swap and having an advent, but I am that massive chicken who is really worried that if I say to them, would you like to swap advents, that then they'll feel that they have to say yes, even if my stuff isn't maybe to their taste. And my style, my dyeing style, my colours, everything has definitely evolved and changed over the years. And I'd hate for someone to feel pressured. So yeah, Helen is a very good friend of mine, and she's also one of the loveliest people. And I think we have similar tastes in some colours, definitely. So yeah, when she was up for swapping again this year, I was really, really chuffed. And I cast on for a shawl idea that I had and ripped it out because it was awful. I cast on, I was doing the increases in the wrong places, I was doing the decreases in the wrong places. It was working out really complicated, when in reality, all I want in December is simple. I want garter stitch, I want squish, I want brainless, because I'm working and I have little kids, and it's all the Christmas run up, the work, the holidays, taking time off over the holidays, having the kids off of school, all of the activities they have through school, you know, Christmas performances, and we've got visits and all sorts to do. Plus, on top of that, I am also chair of governors at, oh wow, I have got to the end of this row. I'm chair of governors at my kids' school, and I help out with brownies, and December just ends up being absolute mayhem. So all I want is garter, squish, easy, brainless. So I ripped that shawl idea out and cast on another one, which is very similar, but just a little bit more simplified. And I'd started knitting it again, but there was no way I was going to catch up because I was way too far behind already. And I don't have that much knitting time during the day. However, I feel like I might actually get done by the end of the year. So this is my current goal. And I know it might make for boring podcast viewing if I am just making one thing until the end of the year. But I really like it and I really want it. So this is my shawl. Now it does have an I-cord cast on, and that is a little tighter. Now this is going to grow, and because it has an I-cord cast on, and it has an increase and decrease sort of shape to it. It has a chevron style shape to it, which means that's the front, that's the back, which means that this I-cord cast on desperately needs a block out. When it has a block out, it'll sit absolutely fine, but right now it's curling over on itself. I don't know if you can see. It is sort of bunching up on itself at the bottom, but that is just because it needs to be blocked. It needs to be blocked, and then it'll be fine. But there is an I-cord edging to both sides that's obviously knit on as you go, so that you don't have to do any kind of finishing like that at the end. And I'm on colour, can't even remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm about halfway through colour 9. We're on what, day 16 of Advent, so I'm over halfway now in terms of being behind, and I'm really, really hoping to have it done by the end of the year. There is no way that I'll get it caught up and finished on Christmas Eve, but if I could have this massive squishy shawl, like we're not even halfway, and I'm already at 50% of my wingspan. So arm span, wings, I don't have wings. Is wingspan the right term? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. So I'm already at 50%, we're not even halfway. So it's going to be a huge squishy squashy thing. It is knit in her sparkle sock base, and I love it so much, and it's so squishy and it's so soft. And with Helen's Advents, she always, or not always, because last year's was not like that, but this year, and I think the year before last, probably wrong, definitely this year, you can open the entire Advent, not knit with it, and then rearrange it into a fade style, or you can knit with it as she lays it out, which is mixed up. And I am 100% in for mixed up. This is a bit of me. I love a fade as well. I love a colour run through. My own Advent is sort of a colour step through, not necessarily a fade, but a colour step through, and I'm in for that. But I love something a little bit different too, and this has given me all, there we go, no, not really, all the joy. So yeah, this is the only whip I have to show you what is going on. But I do have, and I have the colours for the next few days in here, but I'm not going to get them all out because you'll see them as I knit through them. I am using about 17.5 grams of every single mini, so I'm having little teeny tiny nuggets from each 20 gram mini left over. And am I going to get rid of these? Absolutely not. They're going to live with me forever, most likely. I need to find a project for these tiny little scraps at some point. I'm sure I will. But yeah, teeny tiny little scraps. They're all in this pocket of this bag. So that leads me on to stash enhancement. And I don't have any yarn here to show you, apart from Advent things that I've been opening, but I do have a bag. So I think I talked about this last time. If I've already talked about it completely, then I'm so sorry. But I feel like I haven't talked about this since I last recorded an actual podcast video. If I did, I'll cut this out and you'll never know. So this is a bag that I ordered from the lovely Ellie of Craft House Magic. So I have a couple of Craft House Magic bags. I really like Craft House Magic bags for a couple of reasons. So I ordered, now my brain is completely gone. This might be the medium. I can't remember what size this is, that's awful. But it's got this Christmas tree print fabric with ornaments all over it, Christmassy ornaments all over it, which I love. And it is a big drawstring. I love that the channel is a little way down, so it feels really, really sturdy. And you get that cute little top on your bag. Then it's got the contrast red at the bottom. And inside is lined with like a floral, lighter pinky colour. But it has two huge, you can't really see them because my stuff's all in there, but two huge pockets on the side, which I love. One of them has notions, my little scales when I was weighing out how much yarn I had left, which I really don't need to be keeping in here anymore. And I've lost a battery, that'll be in the bag somewhere. My little scraps of yarn and my little scissors. It also has one of those little tabs on the side, so a little fabric tab that had a little lobster clasp on it that I have hung. This is a Flame Knits ice cream stitch marker that I was keeping in there as a spare. Actually, the stitch markers I have on here, oh no, I can't remember. These are little wooden. I've got one little Christmas tree and one little mushroom toadstool. You can see these little wooden stitch markers, excuse my dye hands. I got them from Glasgow School of Yarn, but not this year, the year before, and I can't remember who had them, and that's going to really bug me. But they were from Glasgow School of Yarn. So yeah, I have my stitch markers clipped onto the inside, but this is the main thing I love about Ellie's bags. They are really well lined. There is a cushy, like, it feels like it's quilted. It's a really squishy inner lining, so there's no flimsiness to it, and it stands up even when it doesn't have stuff in it. And I take it all out. If I sort of pack it out a little, if I tap it out with my hands, then it will sit up like a bucket. And I love that because I love that it can sit next to me and it can be a bucket for all my stuff, and I don't have to keep jiggling it. The other thing I absolutely love, actually that might be this, yeah, is that when you get one of Ellie's bags, I don't know if this is every time obviously, but there was this little bag inside, and she has, so Craft House Magic, I mean, if you've heard of me but you haven't heard of Ellie, I'll be shocked because she's got a much bigger podcast than I do, but that's her little card. And she popped in a little micro skein. I love this. And this is a sparkle yarn. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. There we go. So a little like, I don't know how much that is, but like 5-10 grams of a sparkle. I haven't weighed it and my battery has fallen out of that little scales. But there is also, and these are my favourite thing, there is also lavender bags, and they are made from like the scraps. I'm assuming, because my brain is mush, but you know, when you cut your corners and everything and you're left with those little scraps, and that's what it looks like. So they're like made out of the little scraps. I am a lavender person. I know a lot of people don't like lavender. I love lavender. I love it. When I was a kid, we used to make, I made loads of times, make lavender bags with my grandma, and yeah, I love lavender. It's a real, I don't know, addictive smell for me, like one that, that's a stupid thing to say, but you know what I mean, like if I'm handed a lavender bag, or I open a little paper bag that has a lavender bag in, I am straight away like, and I'll sit there sniffing on it for ages. I love this smell. Absolutely love it. So yeah. When I have another bag actually that I need to wash or give a little clean, because I have used it a lot and it needs a little spruce up. But it's a cauldron bag that is one of my absolute favourites from Ellie, and I use it most years, and it looks like a black cauldron with like flames around the bottom, and then it has like a goopy bit of green. It's awesome if you want a really cool Halloween bag, and it's the same sort of style that it stands up. It's really well made, feels really sturdy, stands up on its own, like that. It's got swoosh all on its own, and that's a Craft House Magic one that I absolutely love. Anyway, so that's it. This is what I bought, this is what I'm making, these are what I made, and that's all the project stuff. I did bring something else over to show you, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have anything to talk about because I have made so little and done so little in the last week. So the one thing I was going to show you was Advent. So I haven't been walking through yet on Instagram. I will just do a big upload of all the pictures at some point, but I haven't been putting my Advent up on Instagram. There's a little bit of a mishap with a really lovely person's Advent, and I have sent them my own one, as like the one that I kept back for me. I've sent that to them, and they are lovely and there is no issues at all, but I don't want to spoil them, and they have not asked me to do that at all. It's not that at all. It's just I would like them to have their Advent in their hands, and then I will plop it all up. But theirs is a daily Advent, not a weekly, so I am going to just quickly show you the weekly colours that I have so far. So if you have my weekly Advent and you haven't opened any of them, you might want to switch off now, because I'm going to talk about it. Week 4 I'm not going to talk about, so if you've opened week 1, week 2 and week 3, you're good. That's all I'm going to be showing. So week 1 of my weekly Advent, just take the yarn band off because it doesn't need to have a yarn band on this one, but this is Allons-y. So this is an all of time and space weekly Advent, so this is the first colour. And these came with their own quotes too. So all of my daily Advent days came with a 20 gram mini and a quote. Well, the full skeins came with quotes as well, and they're different from the dailies. So this is Whole Worlds Pivot on Acts of Imagination. So that's the quote that came with Allons-y. And yeah, so we're in a similar-ish place at the moment from how the daily Advent started. So on to week 2. Week 2 is Geronimo, and here is Geronimo. Sorry, my chair's creaking now. So this was Geronimo, and then the quote that came with it is, time is a structure relative to ourselves. Time is the space made by our lives. So yeah, Geronimo. I love this one. I love this one. That's really stupid, isn't it? Standing here saying I love this about my own stuff makes me sound really horrible. Anyway, on to week 3. Week 3 is brilliant. So there we go, week 3. And the quote that came with brilliant is, when you love the Doctor, it's like loving the stars themselves, which is a River Song quote. But yeah. And then here they are together. So I haven't showed you week 4 yet, which I have kept over there. So those are my first 1, 2, 3 weeks of weekly Advent. And these will all be coming on full skeins in January. They'll probably be available for the first time in Waltham Abbey, but I'm really on a roll with dyeing for Waltham Abbey already. So there's a little bit of me that might release a pre-order for some of the Doctor Who inspired yarns from Advent before Waltham Abbey, if I can get myself all completely in order. We'll see. It needs to be very organised for me to be able to do it. The last thing that I was going to talk about today is clubs for 2025. I am bringing back clubs, and I will film a video and put it up where I talk about things a little bit more in depth, but there will be 2 club options. The first one is going to be my Magical Worlds club, where each month you could get, or you can get if you sign up, you get a 120 gram sock set, or about 100 grams, so it might be just over 100 grams of a fibre. That fibre will change throughout each month, because yeah, I've got ideas. So we're going to have some different fibres to play with, and I haven't been fibre dyeing for a while. I dyed fibre years ago and I've dyed up quite a bit. In fact, I'll get some to show you. So this is Folk Christmas 2024, which I dyed up for my open day. I wanted a Christmas colourway and I hadn't had a chance to really get one done. I have a few skeins and I will be popping them online, but I think I probably missed the boat. This whole year has been madness. I will be doing a sort of year recap. This is the same colour on a different base. So this is BFL Humbug, which is a lovely mixture of both brown and cream BFL fibre that is then blended together, but not completely. So we have strips of brown and strips of cream. So it's a lot darker. And then this one is a different base that has merino and silk. So we've got little spots where you can see the shine of the silk. And this one's probably going to live with me. I don't know. I don't think this one's going to make it to the website because I really want to make this one, spin it, and I want to spin it on this wheel. So yeah, you can see the difference in colour between a completely cream fibre and then one that's got a darker base mixed in, which I really love them both. So yeah, fibre. I'm really excited to have a fibre option for a club, and I want to get into a bit more regular spinning again. I've had an on and off love affair with spinning from the age of about 18 when I got my first spinning wheel, and still lived at home, and I was that dorky kid. Everyone else was out drinking and having fun and partying, and there was me at home spinning yarn and knitting socks out of it. Anyway, so that's club number 1, and club number 2 is going to be a feel-good club. It's going to be 3 mini skeins a month, so this is not a big club in terms of huge increase in stash, but you get 3 mini skeins you can choose from DK and sock, and you also get a little card with some little affirmations, nice little things written on one side, like a little quote card, which will be where the colour inspiration for those 3 minis will have come from. And on the other side we'll have a little message from me, a little note from me, and there'll also be a stitch marker in there. I'm trying to fangle them about at the moment, see if I can get them in my large letter boxes, which I think I might be able to do, just to keep the postage down for people as well. So I'd really like this to be a relatively inexpensive club that you get 3 mini skeins. Maybe we can work on a blanket. It's 3 mini skeins a month, so hopefully you'd find enough time to, if you wanted to work on a long-term project, to put in 60 grams of yarn, you know, for 60 grams of DK even, into a blanket. Like, I'd love to make a sweet shop blanket over the course of the year, but hopefully we can get it to a point where this little thing comes in the post and it's a treat and a little pick-me-up, but it's not something that's a huge outlay. Now, that is something I want to offer my subscription for. So I've been talking about this for a long time, adding subscriptions to some clubs. So I haven't run any clubs in 2024. I took a year off because I overwhelmed myself in 2023. 2024 I tried to be sensible. I don't ever want to let anybody down or run out of time to do things, and including my children and my family, I don't want to miss out on anything because of me or lose out on anything because of me. So I had to pare back what I could and couldn't do. Running East Anglia Yarn Festival took a big toll on me, and it took me a year to just get everything back in order before I wanted to run a club again. And I'm really excited to do it. I'm also really nervous because what if nobody wants to do a club with me? But I'm going to offer a subscription option as well, because I am the most forgetful person in the world when it comes to things for me, and I'll prioritise family members or other things and then suddenly go, oh, I didn't do this thing that I wanted to do. Subscriptions are one of the biggest things. My lovely friend Helen at Giddy Yarns, I wanted one of her clubs last year. It wasn't until I was months in that I suddenly was like, I didn't sign up for anything, and you know, then I thought I'd missed out, and Helen very kindly let me get a few of her spares. I didn't then remember to buy them throughout the next few months. I just went, Helen, I didn't buy the club for the last 3 months because I totally dropped out of my brain. And she then, you know, sorted me out because she's my friend and she's lovely. But I just feel like I don't remember things when it comes to stuff for me. There's so much going on. Life is busy, life is crazy. And I would be the person who would use a subscription for one of those things. So yeah, it's going to be if you don't want it, you cancel it. There's going to be no, I'm not going to be that person who's like, you have to be in for the entire year. That's not the way I would roll. Things change for everybody. Maybe you don't like it after a little while. Maybe, you know, it's just something that's stressing you out. That's not something I'm in for. So for me, I will have a subscription option. I will also have a just get one, you know, if you want to jump in for some months and not others, that's fine too. Yeah, it's very much a no pressure sort of situation. But I had the worst year I had the worst end to 2023. It massively knocked me. And then 2024 has just been health problem after health problem, body changes that I didn't expect, my body not working the way I wanted it to, my cat died, I have family members who are poorly, I have, you know, everything is heavy, there's a cost of living crisis, everything is expensive, everything is stressful, everything is, yeah, it's just feel quite crushed sometimes. I'm desperately trying to look on the bright side or pick myself back up and drag myself along, and I know from conversations I've had with other people that there are so many other people who feel exactly the same, and I am not alone in this, and I don't want to be grumping all the time. So how am I going to pick myself up out of it? Well, I'm going to try to give myself my monthly club with my little card. I'm going to keep one for me. I'm going to try and just plow on through and make 2025 a year that makes me happy. Hopefully makes everyone else happy too. I don't know. I'm going to make goals, and I'm going to stick with this more regular recording, because getting back to this, I think hopefully having the studio and being separated a bit from home and work life a bit again, I think that's enabling me to feel like I can record more and get things out more. And I love podcasting, I love coming on and chatting, and I love the friends that it's brought me. And yeah, I feel very lucky to have that, and I want to get that to be something that I stick with as well. So yeah, I'm gonna have a goals video before the end of the year, and I'll do another little video talking about clubs and sort of sharing some of the mood boards and things like that maybe. But those aren't up just yet, but I'm really hoping they'll be up very soon. I'll put a little thing on the screen if they are now up, obviously, but it's more just enjoying 2025, definitely. And on that note, if you fancy coming and joining me on my 5 minutes a day crafting thing that we do over on Discord, my Discord group, I set it up, loads of lovely people joined. It's quite a quiet group, everyone's very busy. I try and check in once a day, usually just before I go to bed when I've just done some knitting, but it would be lovely to have a few people chatting over there. The people that do chat over there, I absolutely treasure them. It's so lovely to click onto that app and, you know, have a little teeny community, and it's really nice and makes me feel connected when I've had a really bad day. So yeah, that's it really. Bit of jibber jabber at the end there. I need to go on the school run. Got to get myself off my butt and out the door. So yeah, I think that was everything. Until next time, I have got a little vlog. Lots of little bits and bobs have been happening on the run up to Christmas, and I will get that vlog up probably after this video, because this one will be a little bit easier to edit. But yeah, until next time, thank you so much for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.